And we are live. Hi, everybody. My name is Felix Masharia. I am the coordinator for the UNODC East Africa Blockchain Hackathon. We are on to pitch day 2, where we are joined by 3 teams, Team DAD, Team Sentinel, and Team PAZA. They'll be presenting their pitches today. Just for the rules for this particular day, because we have fewer teams, each team will be given 8 minutes. And at the end of that period, you will be informed that your time is up. We'll also be updating you on the time on the chat, so you can check how many minutes you have remaining on the chat. After that, we will have questions. Any questions that the audience might have will be posted in the chat or in the Ask a Question tab. So I'm joined by Kamau of Team DAD. Kamau, you are most welcome to present.
Right, thank you. So let me share my screen. Is that visible?
Yes, you can see it.
All right, so my name is Kamau Nyabwengi from Team DAD. Team DAD is, we named it Team DAD, short form for delivering aid differently. So what we aim to do is to build a multi-stakeholder platform for donors and agents and beneficiaries that enables the sending, the receiving, and the processing, and also tracking of social support funds on the blockchain through airdrops. The problem that we are solving is that since 1960, there has been a total of about 3.2 trillion US dollars that has been channeled from donor entities. And when we say donor, we also include the government. So donor entities for alleviating poverty and containing human and natural crises. The sad bit about this is that a huge proportion of this funding and the humanitarian assistance and the government social support programs usually fail to reach the desired beneficiaries because they get diverted to unintended purposes, or when they do, they get embezzled. The other problem surrounding that is the high cost of coordination of this funding from the donor up till the beneficiaries. So our solution is that new information technology, specifically blockchain, provides many opportunities for a more transparent and effective delivery of assistance to beneficiaries. So our proposed project, Project DAD, is an airdrop program designed to deliver a cryptocurrency directly to the beneficiaries' wallets so that they can redeem the cryptocurrency for products and services from registered agents or merchants. So this ensures traceability of the funds, offering a preventive rather than a curative measure against embezzlement and corruption in that sense, and providing an immutable trail of transactions that financial investigation. So just to take you through how the airdrops will work. So an issuing organization will have a wallet. The issuing organization here we call a donor will either be the government, can be an NGO, can be a private company. So they will issue the crypto from their wallet, and this crypto will first directly go to the beneficiaries' wallets. So in the event that probably the beneficiaries do not have smartphones, then there's an option of a voucher which they can scan, which is it's a QR code voucher which they can scan to redeem the crypto that has been loaded onto that voucher. So once the beneficiaries receive the cryptocurrency in their wallet, then they present the cryptocurrency to the agents, the different agents and merchants, and later on I'll be giving an example. And then these agents or merchants then provide them with the product or the service that they are registered to provide. So and then these agents, once they have the crypto, then they can either decide to exchange it for other cryptocurrencies, or they can decide to redeem it through the issuing organization for fiat. So what this provides is an auditable, transparent, traceable, and an immutable record of transactions, all the way from the donor to the beneficiary. So just to take you through our product. So this is the front end. I can just give you an overview of how it looks. So it has three components. It has the component for the beneficiary, the donor, and the merchant, and all of them can sign up either through an email or through a phone number. So if you are a beneficiary, so this is what you would sign up to, and then once you get into the app itself, you can be able to see the balance of the crypto that you've received and how much you've been able to spend. So you can see the transactions of how much you spent to the merchant for you to redeem and how much balance you have. So that's one of the components. The other component is the donor. As a donor, you can also as a donor, you can also be able to see how many donations you have made and to which specific wallets. And then also we have the other component of a merchant or an agent. And as an agent, you can be able to receive the crypto from the different beneficiaries, and then also redeem that the donor themselves or either the bank to get fiat in exchange. So going back to the presentation, why our idea is timely is because it provides a strong reporting of funds through an immutable and transparent blockchain platform. Two is that it provides a means of delivery for donor organizations to still achieve their objectives during this time of the pandemic when there's restricted movement. And then it also helps towards implementation of what we call the 2016 Grand Bargain commitment, which sets a target of about 25% of all global humanitarian funding to be provided as directly as possible by 2020. So what is the size of the market that we are addressing? So it's a $200 billion industry in terms of the donations and in terms of humanitarian assistance. And then out of this 200 billion, 120 billion is by the Development Assistance Committee, which is a group of 18 countries that form this committee. And then 60 billion is by the private NGOs, foundations, church groups, and corporations. And then 20 billion is bilateral government. So who are our target users? So since the youth, the ones who understand technology and they already have smartphones. So we want to target first the youth for them to be using these airdrops. And some of those challenges that we can be solving is one, access to capital, two, access to social and social services and amenities, and three, access to training and education. An example would be probably, we believe that at this time and age, every young person is supposed to have access to the internet. So suppose, as an example, the government decided to give bundles to young people through probably Safaricom. So how our airdrops will work is that the young people will receive airdrops in their wallets, and then they will redeem that for bundles, which they will use to access the vast resources in education that we have on the internet. and those bundles will not be used for anything else apart from access to certain service providers, which will be registered, which now on this platform will be calling the merchants. That would be an example of how the airdrop should be used. So finally, who is behind the idea? So myself, Kamau Nyabwengi, who is the project coordinator for this idea, with a lot of business development experience. I'm originally from Kenya. And then, of course, we have Yebsra Helu, who's from Ethiopia. He's a front-end developer and currently a student studying computer engineering. And lastly, we have Alon Katungole, who's from Uganda, who's leading the backend and has a lot of experience with blockchain applications. That's all, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Kamau. So your application is very interesting, very good work you're doing with your team. There are a couple of questions here. One is, most developing countries use feature phones. Such communities will be locked out from your platform if it targets just smartphones. How are you planning to handle that?
So two ways. One of them will be the vouchers that I spoke about. That if you probably do not have, if you do not have a smartphone, then the other option is you would receive a voucher which is QR coded, and that crypto has already been loaded onto the voucher. So I present that voucher to the merchant, and they will be able to scan it and redeem it for products and services. The other way we are looking to do it is that Celo also provides an option for fingerprint identity. So as we develop the product, we're going to see how to include that, so that initially you only just the beneficiary will only just need to register once, and then their fingerprint don't even have to have a gadget. So their fingerprint will be their identity when they are redeeming the products and services at the point of at the merchant or the agents.
Interesting. Yeah. But just as a by the way, Kotani Pay offers an API for blockchain dApps and protocols looking to off-ramp into fiat from the USSD side. So that will probably be a conversation for the future. Where do you see yourselves in the next 2 years, you think?
So we would like to first start with the target, with a target that is easy to reach the youth, because most of them have smartphones. So, and then progressively go to other sectors of the community, or other sort of beneficiaries, the old people, and just grow it from receiving bundles to an array of different services and products. So build this from an airdrop project to a platform where even the youth can be able to exchange peer-to-peer the crypto, and also maybe even trade against other cryptos.
Cool. Very, very cool. Wish you all the best, Kamau, and your team.
Thank you very much, Felix, for the opportunity. And I mean, what you mentioned as an off-ramp will be really important for us to onboard, especially on the agent side, because for them, once they receive the crypto, what they want to do is off-ramp to fiat, and that's a really good connection that we can build going forward.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
So.
Right.
Okay. Next, we're going to invite Jeff Mkungusi of Team Sentinel to the screen. Jeff, sending you an invite just now. Awesome. Nice. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. I think you can share your screen.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Quite humble to be here. Before I start, apologies for not presenting yesterday. Something happened which I didn't expect, but we're here, so quite excited.
Cool.
So this is the Sentinel group. The idea was the project was building an application, a mobile application, which is known as the anonymous whistle. So So the mission of this particular project initially was we did a lot of research on whistleblowers, and we noticed the biggest problem was when whistleblowers provide they provide information to the public. Most of them escape to various countries, and they don't have any access to funds. So we noticed that they needed protection, and also the content they provide to the public, it needed some bit of protection also, and also in terms of the transactions bit which are being done from, let's say, the well wishers or the contributors to them. We noticed that we need to protect that particular approach. So the opportunity which we noticed is, we wanted to give them a voice of not having any fear. We also wanted to give them a voice of, they can feel assured that they can provide the content and they know that it's protected within the mobile application. Because, utilizing the blockchain facets of decentralizability and immutability, and also the capacity of having certificate authorities that oversee that particular network, you're sure that there is transparency between one component to the next, which is one element of the whistleblower to the public as a whole. So the target is that we aim to provide censorship and also provide a type of governing body, because when they're providing the content to the public, they also have to find a way of screening that particular content. So a bit of artificial intelligence within the mobile application, also integrated with blockchain technology, so that we assure that the content they're providing to the public is secure, safe, and true. And also thereby, as a whole ecosystem, it provides trust. So we built a content sharing cryptocurrency transfer system. This basically safeguards all the components which I've explained earlier, and also it's trust driven because it's built on blockchain technology, and thereby we know that everything that's happening within the platform is secure, safe, and also private. And also sure the whistleblowers are using that mobile application, they're secured because we don't know them. So we just provide some secret keys which will be generated within the platform. And also using the identity management system of the blockchain, using assertions, we have the capacity of providing that particular functionality. So the total available market, when we did a lot of research, we noticed that the 2020 survey had like 70% of respondents from Kenya, South Africa, Chile, Bulgaria, and Greece, also Argentina. Also, we really have an emphasis of checking what's going on around them. They have an urge of accessing various social media applications, just getting the information, just knowing what's going on. But then again, the source of news, we're not sure. Some of it might be, influenced by governmental hierarchies, and we're not quite sure if it's some bit of trusted information. And then again, we notice, there's some loopholes within the current system of, providing information to the public. And also this particular provides good market for the application. You can also see the statistics for various countries, and the percentages and the variances also. So the big picture here is, we concentrate on preventive measures for the whistleblowers. I also noticed there are other players within the same particular market which I appreciate so much. The National Whistleblower Center. I also have the POG organization, and the government also is making an approach, of trying to protect the information, but they had loopholes whereby people using the deep web providing various forums, providing information, but it doesn't, it's not trusted. So it becomes a breach. And when this particular application is, we develop it, we make sure that you can provide the information to the public, it's secure, and also the well-wishers from the other end who want to fund this particular approach can use the same platform to transact, which I think is a two-way win for both parties. So the roadmap is for the 1 year, we have development of both the front end and the back end, also maintenance. So we have 4 months of anonymous testing, just stressing out the facets of identity management for the Cello application. And also, we have 4 months of creating, building a anonymous business network, where the whistleblowers can come and create a network which they can be used. We have 4 months, of also creating a big network of sponsors and well-wishers, and creating clear ways on how they can transact. So the business model is we have various revenue streams: direct donation, transaction services, affiliates, truth, false analysis. So this is whereby knowing whether the information is true or not. I noticed that the biggest issue was transaction service charges and the transparency of the transactions from the well-wishers and the guys who are providing the information to the public. We also have the analysis. So the approximation we did, the projected user adoption is within the first month we have middle about 1,500 or so. And as we continue, it's a linear projection, so we know that user adoption will be fairly true, and it's actually really encouraging. So the key players who helps in developing this particular application is we have Lois Munene, who's a full stack software developer, a profession who has been in the industry for about 6 years or so. He helped out in the back-end development. I myself I played out in both the front-end and back-end development of the mobile application, integrations with Cell, and the API development for identity and also transactions. We have Alan Ochieng, Mr. Alan Ochieng, who's a full stack also developer, played a role in developing the front-end bits, and also commented and gave advice in building the back-end bit also. We have Mr. Brian Mwangi, who is also a full stack developer. We have Mr. Frederick Oluoch, who played a role in developing the APIs also. And we have Mr. James Chege, who's a full stack engineer, played a part in developing the backend also. So the key point summary for this particular application is we make sure that so many people right now are currently wondering what's going on with the COVID-19 situation, looking at social platforms, just inquiring news, and also we just need this market because you can provide the type of news and we know the source and that it's transparent, and we know that well-wishers can use the same platform to fund the whistleblowers to use and provide the news to the public. So the financial model is, the idea is for every transaction which is done by the platform, a small commission from the sponsors can be used, and a small bit of transaction fee from the transaction from the well-wisher to the whistleblower can be obtained from the platform. And, so the use of proceeds is for the fund of development, ready solutions for use will be in the global space. So initially, for the stack we used to build the mobile application, it has support for multilingual development, meaning that the idea we have is to have an outreach to the global masses, because the idea is the only thing restricting this application for use is that people who are using this application will be between the age ranges of above 18, so that we can screen the information either that is true, and also besides that there is no other restriction, and it can be used by anywhere, any part of the world. Thank you very much. I'd like to move to the video presentation. Just a minute. So for the video presentation, this is the mobile application. So initially, we have the entry point of the mobile application. There were some issues with the information transfer from the front end to the back end via the tokenized API. But because I was using an emulator, but if I moved to native to the Android bit of the platform, I would have actually accessed the mobile application directly. So we have the front screens which have recent information from anonymous whistleblowers. We can see the type of, we used Lorem Ipsum, because just for the dummy data to show structured parts of the mobile application. So you can actually see the article of the whistleblower, which is verified, and it has specific secret token IDs. We have whereby the mobile option of a sponsor making that particular transaction via the platform to the whistleblower using an ID which is slightly above. So the ID will be attached behind, so because we are trying to make it as anonymous as possible, so it will be attached by that particular article. So when they enter that particular amount, it will be transacted by the network. And also, because you don't know, we just have a signature, the wallet number, so that's the prime identity of the user, and they can also display a particular name if they wanted to. I'm done with the presentation.
Okay, very cool, Jeff. What platform did you say you are building on?
I was building on Cello.
Cello, okay.
Yes.
Right, so there are a couple of questions here. One is asking, in regards to whistleblowing, what makes your idea particularly unique?
Okay, so in regards to whistleblowing, what makes this particular idea unique is, you see, when the current situation right now, when you have whistleblower was a particular type of content they want to share to the public. For instance, Snowden, we all know what happened to him. He provided the information to the public, then he went to seek asylum elsewhere. Now, this particular idea, the reason it's unique is I can have that particular information at the comfort of my home. I can feel safe sharing via the platform because it's fully encrypted, it's anonymous, it's decentralized, the information will be immutable. And then again, when it's anonymous, the various sponsor networks and the whistleblower networks within that particular facet, they can access that type of information. They can see it, they can verify. If a whistleblower wants to fund that initiative, can send tokens, maybe can send even, any type of cash they want. And also, well-wishers who think that, this information should reach to the highest order of the hierarchy, they can also, provide funds for that particular initiative. So if you ask me, I believe that, when you have some source of truth, you need to provide it to the public. But then again, what type of delivery method are you using to provide that to the public? So I believe that this particular solution, the reason it's unique is it gives somebody some power. It's an idea. It's lifeless. And then again, This particular platform, it can be used by anyone, anywhere, because it's fully anonymous.
Oh,
thank you.
Nice. One more question. How do you plan on reaching out to people? How do people get to know about Whistle as an application once it's, or probably when and if you win?
The plan we had, because it's a conversation we had with the team, the plan we had was, first of all, there are two parts of the we have the light web and we have the deep web. Most of the whistleblowers, if you visit the deep web right now, they have various forums which they provide information about the governments, and but the problem is it's not really verified. So the idea was to provide a slight anonymous marketing strategy, because it was unique. When people do marketing, it's like, this is us providing this type of market, but there's a way you can market anonymously. So we'll start first in the deep web, because that's where the market is. We share some information via various forums whereby people can feel comfortable using this particular application. Then we move from the deep web to the light web, whereby we can now tell people in social media and can use this particular application to provide information to the public. And also, they want some support, because they feel that they might run for their life. They don't have even that fear. If they just want support, to provide an outreach to the big masses like KTN and all the other TV stations in the rest of the world, CNN and BBC, they can use that particular application and the funds they get in, because it's highly encrypted and also it's tokenized, to the public. And also, then again, if we move from because now this is fully reversed, so if you move from the deep web to the light web, the market is in the deep web, then we move to the light web, and then on, because the network continues to grow on its own, it just generates its own life. Thank you.
Nice. Very good. I wish you all the best. Very interesting application.
I'm quite humble. Thank you again for this opportunity. And thank you again for giving us another chance, since we didn't present yesterday due to a demo which we hadn't anticipated. Thank you. Thank you for your consideration. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, final team is Team Paza. So I'll be inviting Kimathi to the screen. Just send the invite, Kimathi. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. You can share your screen.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we are Team Paza, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity again, for considering us for the second day. Technical issues and the fact that you gave us a chance is really amazing. So as Team Paza, what we were working on was a tender committee archival network.
You can't see your screen?
You can't see it?
Yeah, it's okay. Just share there's that laptop. Yeah, now we can see it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I was saying, we are Team Paza, and what we were working on was a tender committee archival network. And the members are me, Afani Ndiazi, Martin Mutua, and Alfaxan Ayembe. What is the problem that we were trying to look at? The tender system is really fragile right now, and we notice it's fragile in the sense that from the initial process of choosing the committee that actually looks at the tenders that are being submitted, people have gotten a loophole through that. So the problem is the records of the committee meetings involved in the procurement process are largely disjointed. So you'll find like it's gazetted. It's usually the tenders are gazetted, and then people come and do submissions. And from the submissions, a committee is formed by a CEO who initially takes it through assignment and looking at using various ways. So the committee structure and the method of choosing the committee and the whole structure is usually very disjointed because you are accepted and you needed to be in a meeting. These meetings can be virtual, these meetings can be physical, and because of lack of evidence by the normal Mwananchi or by the normal African, we found out that most of the decisions are made by only one individual or two individuals who have vested interests in the tendering system. Why are we doing this? Like I explained, the problem is very large and vast. And recently, speaking from a local perspective, there's a case of the Kimwarel dam, 4.5 billion, which was 10% of the funds that were allocated, was swindled. And there was a change of assigning the tender being assigned to different companies in between. Why did this happen? It's not supposed to happen. It's actually unlawful to the law. But the reason that it happened is because one, it was not open. People did not know that this is a process that is supposed to know. If you ask a normal person in the streets running how this process is supposed to happen, most of them don't know. They just read and hear that money was swindled, but they don't know how it was swindled, and if there's supposed to be a lawful procedure that is supposed to arraign the people who were responsible for this. So how did we solve this? We took the initiative and first of all tried to understand the process of tendering, specifically to evaluation of each tender, because we noticed that is the critical point. If you cannot evaluate, if you cannot provide evidence of what has been happening, or the steps and the people who are involved, you cannot have a method to actually vet them. You cannot have a method of auditing them, and you cannot have a method of either prosecuting them or holding them accountable for anything that happens as you proceed. So we digitized the tender committee meeting and the minutes themselves to act as evidence and to also hold everybody who's going to be involved accountable. And we made sure that we are going to create a transparent and available platform for all of them. So I will share the process itself from our flow diagram. So as you can see, the first step of the tendering system, first of all, the tenders are submitted. Once they are provided to the public and people start registering for the tenders, they are opened by the CEO. And as the CEO is going to open the tender, the first step of evaluation is whether the tender was submitted early or it was submitted late. This is the first vetting for all the tenders that are brought forward. For all the late tenders, they are not even given second thought, but they are discarded. As for the early ones, they are recorded and they are provided to the CEO. So the CEO is an individual who is known to have knowledgeable insight based on the system that they are going to do. So if it's a tender for maybe roads, they look for an engineer who's well known and who has evidence to have worked there. And after he sees them, he opens the tender by selecting the committee members. So as for the committee members also, they are vetted in a meritocratic system where everybody there needs to have knowledge on the current tender that they are doing. So if the tender passes through, if the tender is looked at by each committee, the committee then forms a meeting, a public meeting where everybody gives opinions on the writing. So there are two ways that it can be vetted. It can be vetted by formal compliance, which means maybe the number of papers you're supposed to write, the method of writing, the language that was used, the the current finances that are put? Are you also vetted in the sense that you have technical compliance? Are you able, do you have an upstanding, you don't have a criminal record? Those are things that are looked at in the formal compliance. While for the technical compliance, they look at your past. What have you been able to do? Do you have, what is your history? What specifications do you have that you've pointed out down? What is the timeline? Is it visible? Those are the things that they look. So after it's been looked and all of the ones that have passed have been looked, an evaluation voting is carried out. So during the evaluation voting process, so they vote based on the two methods that we said here, the formal compliance and the technical compliance, and every single tender is voted for, and from that, the one that comes winning and with the most votes is considered by the secretary, and the secretary writes a report that is provided to the CEO. So the CEO then goes and does a background check by themselves, and if they agree, they accept the tender, and it's approved and it's gazetted to the public for everybody to see. If it is not, it is disapproved, and the whole tendering process is restarted again. So that those are the steps that are done. So how did we model our technology using this flow diagram? So we came up with a platform which is going to a mobile application. Right now, with people being dispersed and distributed everywhere, we saw it fit to have a mobile application that will allow anybody from anywhere to join the meeting and to be able to carry out in the whole tendering process. This is basically for all the committee members that are going to be there. So as you can see, the first process is enter an invite key. Since the committee members are chosen by the CEO, what the platform will be doing, the CEO will be querying a database where professionals will have, who are technical professionals, and from the technical profession, the guys with the highest ratings are going to be chosen. And after they are chosen, a key is going to be generated for each one of them. So it's going to be sent to their mail, which they are going to then come and use to join the platform. Once they join the platform, they will be taken to the process of joining the meeting where they will meet up with the rest of the members. As we mentioned, the members are usually 4 in number to avoid spacing. There are also some professionals who are invited to consult in case of any mishaps. After that, the tenders are opened, and as you can see, the first process of voting begins. This is a public voting process where they review each tender step by step and vote based on the formal compliance and the technical compliance. After that, a private voting session is done. So, as you can see, this is wholly meritocratic. They do the formal compliance where they will vote for each step one by one, and they will submit them. For submissions, the ones with the highest voting will be rated highest, and the ones with the lowest will be arranged in that format. And finally, the one that is chosen is awarded the tender. So how are we going to use the blockchain here? As you can see, the first step that we said, we mentioned that identity of the committee members, and the committee members will be in a database of professionals. So the first step is having all the members join the network, the tendering network. So for you to even be awarded as a committee member or a tender itself, you will need to initially be to join the network. So we use Hyperledger Indy to create a distributed ID for everybody, so that everybody can have identification as a member of the tendering system, and also for the submission of the tenders themselves. Secondly, we used Hyperledger Fabric, which created the whole business logic of the platform. So from the step of forming the committees, to the step of voting, to the step of actually looking through the tenders. So this will allow for it to have an open method of evaluating who was right and who was wrong. So what are our future prospects? So like I mentioned, this is mostly a governmental space, but we've noticed more and more companies and organizations have started utilizing a public, they've started using a public method of actually asking for people to bet and give tenders to them. So we like to think that as this continues, people are outsourcing more, and the whole process of actually getting services or creating products is being outsourced from outside, and not people doing it from inside. So this will provide accountability first of all, and we like to be part of that by having people utilize our platform, and we love to provide the solution to each and every organization that will be open. But for the first step, they'll have to join the network, which the network will make it easier for you to evaluate anybody who wants to come and give you a tender. And with that, I'd like to say conclude our slide, and thank you very much for the time.
Okay. Thank you, Kimathi. Let's see, questions posted here. Yeah, so are there any sort of incentives for the users who will be using your platform?
Actually, there will be incentives because we were speaking with the team. I was speaking with one of the backend engineer, which was Martin, and we were talking about the whole escrow process, where for everybody who will be on the network, if they offer a tender, they will be put. There might be a tokenization system where every single time you try to offer yourself for a tender, you're given some amount of, let's say, like Paza coin, which will make you want to register more and more, and also want to make you be liable, more visible, clearer in everything that you do. Yes.
Okay. And how many users are you targeting any particular number?
Okay, currently we noticed that there was a trend of when tenders are usually submitted, more than 100 tenders are usually put up, but we'd like to start with only one organization. Maybe let's say we can start with the Ministry of Roads, and any tenders, let's say if they do like tenders annually, we can start with them where we can get like maybe 500 users who are going to be on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Wish you all the best as well, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you also for the time, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to actually actualize this.
Cool. Yeah, so just a reminder, these particular questions will be, these particular sessions will be shared with the judges. So it was good that your teams made the time to come today. And I wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you so much.